Welcome to For Formula One's Sake, the podcast F1 deserves. I'm Ollie Peer, and this is the FF1S preview. We'll be bringing you everything you need to know about the forthcoming Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. But before that, we've got a plague of questions that need eradicating with our toxic answer spray. In the aftermath of the Miami Grand Prix, you asked us for answers, and we're going to give them to you. What happens after that is not our responsibility, so let's see what happens. That's all to come. Right, here's Listener's Corner, which may or may not have an orange scumbag lurking within it. Who'd like to go first?
I could go first if you like. Let's go with Ben Morehouse88, who says, which US president do you think would be the best team principal? Dead ones are fine. Now, I was thinking about this because I don't think being a good US president would necessarily equate to being a good team principal. And it also depends how you're measuring goodness when it comes to team principals. Because teams would measure them by success, whereas I would measure it for entertainment.
Whereas,
so I'd say...
Go on, sorry, you do your answer.
I was just going to say Richard Nixon, just because it would be funny.
He's like the Flavio Briatore of presidents.
He is, but he's like sort of middle management Flavio Briatore. He's not as flamboyant as Flavio, but he's
an actual person.
He's quite conniving. So
is he dead now? I think he's dead.
Nixon, yeah, he's
Nixon.
dead. Or
yeah,
Flavio Briatore. No, he's still around.
Oh no, I was talking about Silvio Berlusconi.
Bunga bunga.
Wrong.
I mean, in fairness, I've never seen Silvio Berlusconi and Flavio Briatore in the same room together, but...
Wrong country.
They do both like mass dampers. Don't know what that means.
I'm so tired right now. I just lost... Okay, right. Richard Nixon, he's dead. He would be funny. You're right.
I think the question is the wrong way round. I think it's which F1 team principal would make the best president. And I think Ron Dennis would have been a great president.
He'd never get the popular vote, though. I think he'd be good, but he'd never get the vote because US politics is so bizarre that it's like a popularity contest.
Yeah, but you got to think.
I don't think Ron would ever win a popularity contest.
I think if he hadn't become a McLaren boss and he was as it is prime, then it'd be 80s and 90s. So we're talking who was there before, like George Bush Senior. I think Ron Dennis is basically the same. Tall,
I don't
boring.
know what his politics are like, to be honest.
No one does.
Very efficient politics.
He clearly loves money, so he's probably a Tory.
I think everyone in the pit lane is probably a Tory. Let's be honest.
You never saw Jeremy Corbyn on the grid walk at Silverstone, did you?
No, although that would be good. Or trying to make it as a driver, or entering a team where there's no team principle, everyone's equal.
I know I'm not really answering the question there, but imagine if it was like one of those films where they do a swap, like vice versa or Big or something, but it's Jeremy Corbyn and Ron Dennis. That's the film. One
day Jeremy Corbyn wakes up and he's in charge of McLaren in the mid-90s.
Yeah.
And that would be interesting. And Ron Dennis wakes up and finds out that he hasn't been voted in for the Labour Party.
And has a veg patch that he needs to look
after. Sorry, did I miss it where he did get voted in?
No, but it depends when in the story they swapped, doesn't it? Because he might have been the daring do to get Corbyn across the line. If he'd have treated it like Senna Prost instead of Cameron Osborne.
It wouldn't have done that well at the cinema, would it, as a film? I think.
No, it's barely an episode of Quantum Leap at this point.
No, I wouldn't have watched it. Silvio Berlusconi. There we go.
He's not a US president.
I know he's not, but it'd be brilliant. And he's not even a president. He was a prime minister. He was a prime minister. No, who was the old film, the movie star one? Ronald Reagan. Yeah, I'll go with him.
Good.
Mind you,
Next
Donald
question.
Trump. No.
Who wants to go? Terry, go on, you go.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Sorry, I thought we were just having a chat. I was having a nice time with my friends. Oh, no, go to the Google Doc, Terry.
It's just a normal chat interrupted with a Google Doc, isn't it? Imagine pulling that out of the pub. Guys, can we just follow the script for the chat, please?
If there was a tagline for this podcast, it's like it's a normal chat interrupted by a Google Doc would be pretty accurate.
Okay, so Brendan White says, "Thank you, Terry, for reading my question in a Brummy accent last week. Had me howling with laughter. I'm actually from Devon, so can you read this week's question in your best Janner accent? Is that right?
Janners.
Don't know. Never heard that before, Janner.
So what's Devon? What's Devon?
Devon. My wife was born in Devon, so
what's her voice
I think
like?
it's basically just bumpkin, isn't it?
So
Generic
a bit
bumpkin.
like, I mean, I'm kind of from near Bristol way, so I suppose I do.
Oh, you
have
think
a
it's
bit
so
of
you
that.
really love
It's a
her?
bit like
bit of
that
that.
cream. Say clotted cream.
Oh, ambrosia
Clotted
custard.
cream. Devon
Oh,
knows how they make it so creamy.
There you go.
The question is, if Max Verstappen's mum had balls, I've got northern. I was doing so well.
You've shot like 300 miles away.
I was really doing well.
Oh,
If
that was
Max
hilarious.
If Max Verstappen's mum had balls, would she be his dad? I can't do it. This pissed me off.
Because it's not a good line, is it? That's the trouble.
No, it doesn't work.
He sort of dropped that and then just said, "Oh, I was really witty." This is Max Verstappen
Because he was
saying
responding.
this.
He was responding to a question, wasn't he?
Well,
I can't even remember what the
he
question
wasn't
was. It was
responding
like,
to a
if
question.
X, then Y.
No, he wasn't responding to the question. Lando Norris was responding to the question, and Verstappen interrupted the answer, basically saying, "Oh well, you know, what if? It would be like, what if my mum had balls? Should be my dad." That's basically what he was
So
saying.
it wasn't even his question. So that's even worse. He just interrupted it to get his shit line in.
Yeah.
Well, no, it was the Red Bull driver giving his take on the safety car period in the Miami Grand Prix on whether Norris could have won the race if the safety car hadn't worked out this way. And his response was, "If my mum had balls, she would be my dad." So the metaphor he's trying to make is that if something changes, it's like if a butterfly flaps its wings in Tokyo, you might win the Grand Prix in Miami. But what he actually said is, if my mum had balls, she would be my dad. And that's not true, is it? That's not how it works.
Well, no, because that is his dad.
But if his mum
No,
has a
this
sex
is
change,
philosophical.
and I want to
Yeah.
say this is, I'm not going to get all fucking anti-trans here. I'm a huge supporter of trans rights. So if his mum had a sex change and had balls, they'd have to have a conversation about whether you call them mum or dad. You know, it's open for debate.
And he'd essentially have two dads.
Yeah, like the sitcom. They'd be
actually,
my two dads.
Actually, depending on what Mrs. Verstappen wants, maybe they would. Actually, they separated, divorced. I don't know what's going on.
But he's mansplaining.
But then that would be right. But then it would be. If
So in which
my
case it
mum-
would mean he's right. Oh, God.
He is right, yeah, because if my mum had balls, she'd be my dad. But that's only if she wanted to identify as a dad. Because if she didn't,
It's a minefield.
she would just be a mum with balls.
I think to properly answer this question, we need to get hold of Max Verstappen's mum and find out what her thoughts are on this matter.
What's
That
the thing
sounded
about-
quite violent.
What's the thing about fish on a bicycle?
Well,
What's
it's
the
if my gran had wheels, she'd be a bike. Was it something like that?
Oh, God.
A woman needs a man like a fish needs a bicycle. Oh.
No.
I'm not sure that's the same thing.
No, if give a man a rod,
Give a man a
fish for a
bicycle.
day. Give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. Give him
him
a
a
net.
bike.
You can
bicycle.
go down the road to the fish shop.
Yeah, give him a fiver.
Give him a bike. He can become a delivery driver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give him some balls and he'll be Max Verstappen's dad.
We're going
Anyway,
off
I hope-
on a
I
tangent
think we've
here,
answered that question, haven't we?
I think we've answered that perfectly well.
I think we've offended every single group there.
Yeah. If you are offended, you can get in touch. FF1S, I've forgotten the rest of the email. Tim Mrenler. K-Mag has to be squeaky clean for 19 races to avoid a race ban. As that's not possible, what mundane infringement will get him the next 2 points?
I don't think it'll be mundane. I think he'll go. I think he'll go all out. Just like fuck it. Is it 19 races? Is this all the points this year? Is it? He hasn't carried any over from last year.
No, it's a rolling year, isn't it? So I think
exactly.
His first
So-
points. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly, but yeah, basically I think he's got like 10 months before the first points come back off. So
Oh
basically
God!
the
So it
rest
is a
of the
long
season.
time then.
So if I was him, I would go for this, right? You don't want to risk just kind of like, having a minor infringement. So I'd quite like it at the next race. As they go into the starting grid, all the cars are on the little grid spots, and then there's Kevin Magnussen at the back, right behind a ramp that's on fire. And the red lights go out, and he just goes, whoo, and does the barrel roll and a spin, and like crashes into the fence, and everyone's like, "Hooray!" And then the FIA goes 3 points, and he's like, "Fuck you."
I would like him to false start, but do it in such spectacular fashion that when the formation lap goes off, he treats it like a race start.
Wouldn't that just be the best?
So
That would be very funny.
they wave it like all the mechanics are at the side waiting for them to go, and he just absolutely dumps the clutch and flies away and doesn't stop for anyone.
Yeah.
And they literally have to get Burnt Mylander to ram him off the track.
What do you think would happen, right, if something like that, let's just say, he goes off and just keeps going. I mean, I suppose there's a lot of danger coming back round to the grid would be quite scary because he'd probably get there before.
Oh, it would be carnage, Terry.
Okay, so
I'd say quite a lot of people would probably die.
Yeah, it'd be very dangerous, yeah.
But what
It'd
if,
be
okay, now
flames.
what if, as a realistic scenario, he just yammers it before the red lights go out. So he's just
Yammers.
like,
It's a good word.
Good word, thanks.
Jan Lammers
And he
it.
goes off. So then he's got a 20-second head start or whatever on everyone else.
Yeah.
There'd be pandemonium. There'd be flags and lights and whistles and bells or whatever they do. But
That'd be great if there would be whistles and bells. Oh my god, it's serious. They've got the whistles and bells out.
Like a dinner lady. He's calling in
Oh,
plates.
it's coming.
What are you
Ga-ding,
doing?
ga-ding,
Clang,
ga-ding,
clang, clang.
But presumably they disqualify. If he didn't come, they give him like a 10-second penalty. But if he's got that much of a lead, he might as well just be like, "Well, fuck it, I'll take the 10 seconds." And they probably
No, they
disqualify him.
black flag him. Yeah, they disqualify him.
But
Yeah,
then,
because otherwise every fucker would be jumping the start as soon as they get the chance.
Yeah, it'd be a
But then,
great
let's
tactic.
say it was his last ever race and it was a Disney film or something, and he just refused to stop. And it'd just be like,
Like Thelma and Louise.
yeah. Do you reckon they must have? They must be able to just stop the car from the pits, mustn't they? But then he'll have his.
He'd run out of fuel, or his tyres would go off, and he'd skitter into the gravel like Hamilton.
Oh,
at
we got
China.
like 30 laps before that, but because I presume in the garage they can turn his car off remotely. So maybe he's got like an engineer who takes people hostage.
I don't know if they can turn it. That's a very good question that I'm not
I
considering.
bet
they can do a
can.
lot, but actually, can they? Can they do much remotely? They can read stuff, but I
Can they
wonder if
write?
the rules actually say I don't think they can actually do stuff remotely. I think the driver has to do it all himself.
This is what the Brad Pitt film's going to be. It's going to be like, stop talking to me. Pulls out his radio and like, I'm just going to keep driving, man.
I mean, I know this isn't a news section, but have you seen that the Brad Pitt film is going to be one of the most expensive movies ever made? I think it's
No way,
already
really?
at 300 million.
Jesus. When's it due to be out?
I mean, I'm
2047.
I'm going to say 85% convinced it's going to be terrible.
Of course it's going to
Oh,
be
no.
terrible.
I have faith. I think it's going to be brilliant. Just on this, just briefly, can we just, because for people like me, just explain a little bit behind it? So he can't get any points at all for 90
So I think
races.
if you get
If you get 12 points in 12 months, isn't it?
yeah,
12 points in 12 months, and he's at what?
then you get a race
10.
ban. He's at,
He's at 10, so he needs to go 19 races without getting another 2 points.
Yeah,
and if he
I haven't
gets that,
checked
he gets
if that's accurate, but that sounds about right.
okay. So that means that, and then if he gets that, he basically gets banned from the next race.
He gets a race ban, yeah.
Okay.
Which hasn't happened for a while. Was it Grosjean the last one? I can't remember one
Yeah.
since then. After his,
wouldn't it be great if you could choose which race you were banned from? It's my that's all right. I don't want to go anywhere. We're going to be shit. Oh, but do you reckon
That'd be brilliant.
Do you reckon he'll do a tactical penalty? Like maybe they'll work out his weakest race of the year and just say, right, the race before, do your worst, mate.
Well, they'd have to. If that happens, they'd get Behrman in, wouldn't they?
Yeah, win-win for everyone.
Yeah,
I mean,
that'd be
come on,
good.
Kevin. Makes sense. Keep the people happy. Spend
Go
more
out
time
in
with your
style.
daughter.
Go on then.
Shall I
Phil.
pick another one?
Yeah,
Beardy_Cal says, now that McLaren are hopefully back to winning ways, is Terry proud of his barcode again?
What?
Well, this tattoo.
We should explain this, shouldn't we?
Oh yes, I recall this
For
from
newer
a very
listeners.
long time ago.
So I have a tattoo that's a barcode, which is based on the barcode that McLaren Marlboro used when they couldn't advertise cigarettes back in the day. So in a way, yes, but also no, because McLaren don't use this logo anymore, and McLaren aren't the same team anymore, are they? You don't look at a Marlboro now and think McLaren, do you? You look at a
You don't look at a Marlboro anymore. You can't see it anywhere.
You can't
even
because
see
they're
it in the
invisible.
supermarket.
I know. I think that's what
behind
they
the
should have.
sliding doors, aren't they?
I think they should
They
have
are,
left.
and they're not branded packets even when they do open. They're just all brown packets.
What? I didn't
you
know
not know
this.
Yeah.
No.
That's all right,
Whereas
'cause
in Germany, they just sell like you could buy like a pack of 50 cigarettes for like €20 or something.
well, here
Can
I
you
think
really?
from the last time I checked, a packet of you can't buy 10s anymore. You can buy 20s. I think they're about 15 quid a pack now, and you can only buy them in plain dull green packaging, and they all look the same. So they can have the brand written on them, not in a special font. It's just written on them, and they keep them out of sight in a cupboard. So
Don't they? Hang on.
See them.
Don't they still have like vile pictures of people's insides?
They might. I don't know. I'll be honest. It's so long since I've seen a pack of cigarettes. I couldn't tell you.
When I used to smoke, it was I think I could get a pack of 10 Marlboro Lights for about $1.98 or something, maybe a little bit more than that. But the danger thing was just like, don't smoke. You know, that was basically
just guys. Come on, guys.
It's not that good for you. I mean, you look cool, but you know,
it was really.
Yes, it was that. But now it's like, look at this diseased, cancerous lung.
You're gonna fucking die.
Yeah.
What if they'd have allowed tobacco sponsorship to carry on in Formula One, but they had to put those pictures on the cars?
Diseased lung racing. I'm here for it.
Yeah, we could do with the
and the
side
drab
pods.
green car of Fernando Alonso is being overtaken by the drab green car of Michael Schumacher.
Could have someone's esophagus just to look like along the spoiler. Just
Instead of the Dunlop Bridge. Esophagus bridge.
This is tremendous.
Oh, and we're in Monaco. He's going through the small intestine.
Which obviously now is contracted like his blood vessels.
It'd be
We
great.
won't be seeing anything coming out of there for a while. Or going in. Anyway, I think we answered that properly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Next question, Terry.
Mike Oxlong says, if you could have Adrian Newey design anything for you, what would it be and why?
Great question.
A wanking machine.
You'd come in 2 seconds flat.
It would have like a visor, protect a halo. You sit in it. All the data's going back to the pit bench.
We got hundreds of people in Woking looking at every single element of your technique.
As ever.
It's just your OnlyFans, isn't it?
I think. I mean, just think how good the carbon fight, little aerodynamic flicks everywhere.
The trouble was, if the slightest thing went wrong with it, it wouldn't work at all.
It's very much like wanking, isn't it?
The similarities. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've got
literally
nothing that would
wanking,
beat that, so to speak.
Oh. No. Yeah, I'd quite like one of the wanking machines as well.
All right, well, 3
There
of
you
them
go,
then, please, Adrian. Cheers.
Buying in bulk. And Christian Horner's going, oh, that would have saved me a lot of bother.
Get some mods mid-season that change it a little bit. One would be faster than the other. Yeah, you just get criticised. Why aren't you as fast as Terry? I'm trying.
Yeah, you've got last year's model.
Oh, that's because I've got the that year when all the cars had big penis noses.
Trouble is, you get to a certain level, and then the FIA would ban bits of it, and then you'd have to start level again.
It's
The drag reduction system. He's opening the flap.
Oh, this is brilliant.
He's turned on the electric boost.
Of course, you know that all Formula One cars don't have a starter motor, so they have to have a little thing poked up the bottom to start the car. Very similar with this.
Same, but different. Good. Another question brilliantly answered.
Yeah. Superb. Oh, God.
Oh, Ollie.
Philip Morby, if drivers were rated on their last radio message, do you think I'm Such a Dumb Fuck by Logan Sargent was a suitable ending?
I never saw that Frozen film. It was, I mean...
I don't think he's a dumb fuck. I just don't think he's a very good driver. That's the problem. So, actually, in this case, to be serious for a second, no. Because I think he's trying. I think he's probably a clever guy. And, you know, I don't dislike the guy from the 2 interviews I've seen with him. He seems like a lovely guy, but he's just not good enough. That's the trouble. I feel a bit sorry for him, if I'm honest.
Well, this is the thing. I think we're witnessing the just the character breakdown of a real person. And in one way, it's quite sad because, you know, you're at the highest pressure point, Formula One, you're a driver, everyone thinks you're shit. And you know that if you fuck up your home race, you're probably never going to drive a Formula 1 car again, and then you fuck up and you say, God, am I such a dumb fuck? And then in the race, didn't he crash out, and didn't he say, or in the qualifying, and he said something like, did I do something wrong? And you're just like, oh, bless him, it's just, he's gone to the big list of drivers that just need a hug. And to get better.
It's not like other ones where you're just like, where you feel angry that they're carrying on going. I don't. I just feel really sorry for him. And if he can, if he can suddenly turn it around and be brilliant, I will be genuinely happy for him. But he won't, and he's not good enough, and he needs to get out, and somebody else needs to come in and take his place.
Because that somebody else is.
Well,
Gianni
the talk
Morbidelli.
is yes. The talk is. The talk is that it's. Oh God, I now can only think of Gianni Morbidelli, Kimi Antonelli,
Kimi Räikkönen. Oh,
but I'm worried about that because he's barely into Formula 2, so. It would be very quick to bring him in and then suddenly go, oh, he's not brilliant immediately.
I think Kimi Tony Benoldi is
Tony Bennett.
Tony Bennett.
Enrico Benoldi.
I think he's going to be not good because I think that Toto Wolff, having lost Lewis Hamilton and never quite getting Max Verstappen, and now doing this slightly embarrassing push for Verstappen, he's determined to get Kimi Giovinazzi in the car to prove that he can nurture talent and not just because he's got famous of having Michael Schumacher and Lewis Hamilton in his car. Do
you think he's pinning his hopes on this? He's anyone?
Pinning his hopes, and I think it's going to be. It's like George Russell. It's just not going to quite work.
It's just going to be sort of standing outside the factory in Brackley, going, "You're the next big thing."
What day is it? And there's still time.
It's like a cross between Ebenezer Scrooge and the guy from Back to the Future, Doc Brown. Great Scott!
I love it.
Phil.
Tristan Clayton says, so Lando joins the club of one-win wonders, at least until he does it again. Also in the club are Ocon, Gasly and Russell. Who from that group will forever remain in the club? Who from Kubica, Kovalainen, Trulli, Maldonado, Alesi and Parnis should have achieved more or less? Well, there's several questions in there.
Well, so, I would say all three of those are never going to win a race again.
The way Gasly it's going... Well, Ocon and Gasly both kind of, from my memory, they kind of lucked into their wins somehow, didn't they?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
they were very spawny. Russell won on merit, in fairness.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know you'll hate this, Terry, but I think Russell could, again, possibly.
Oh, he's got the most
very
chance
dependent on Mercedes sorting their
act. Yeah, be dependent on lots and lots of things. But, if my mum had balls, she'd be my dad. So I'm just...
No, she'd be Max Verstappen's dad.
If my mum had balls, she would be Max Verstappen's...
If my mum had Jos Verstappen, I could be Max Verstappen.
Yes. Is that right?
Yeah.
If Max Verstappen had balls... Wait. This is not the question. There were several questions and we've answered none of them.
Anyway, Russell.
So you don't reckon any of them are going to win? I suspect Russell will probably win again.
We think he should, but I think Mercedes are going to go down the McLaren route. I think.
I mean, at this stage, they might. Yeah, but having said that, McLaren just won a race, so.
Yeah, but he's not going to be driving. That's like saying that. When did McLaren first get shit? When it was Jenson Button. That's like if Jenson Button was still driving for McLaren.
Yeah. How long ago was that? Now?
Oh, it's a good 10 years, 20, 15, some years. Yeah, who from Kubica, Kovalainen, Trulli, Maldonado, Alesi and Panis should have achieved more? Kubica should have achieved more and was on the edge of achieving more until he lost an arm. And that'll dent anybody's chances.
Dent a lot, isn't it?
And he came back and he just wasn't the same.
Well, you would be...
but understandable.
I don't know how I feel about the Kubica comeback now, because obviously it was a huge thing. It was like, wow, he'd had his arm chopped off and he's got back.
It was Lauder-esque, yeah.
But also...
But Lauder came back and won 2 world championships.
Yeah, the film doesn't go so well if it's like, hey, he made it back, hey!
He's shit now.
Oh. Well done, mate. That's what Formula 1's all about, isn't it? It's about trying.
Yeah. Have you thought about Formula E? Kubica should have won more. I think Alesi should have won more.
No, I don't think he should. I think Alesi got as many wins as he deserved because he often fucked his races up. Is his thing, and then he just didn't turn up for a bunch of races mentally. And when on his day he was amazing, and he was rarely on his day. So I think he got one race. And he was I think
that's what I'm saying. I wish he'd been on his day a bit more. Parnis, yeah, I mean, he was never really in the car, was it? Apart from that one-off. Was it Monaco one, wasn't it?
That was in Monaco.
He sort of... He never got in the car to be able to do it, really.
Exactly.
Maldonado, I still don't... I mean, I do recall that he genuinely drove really well on that day, if I remember rightly. When was it? It must have been about 10, 15 years ago. When was it? Can't remember now.
Oh, it would have been about 2005?
No, it was later than that.
2008.
I'm going 2012, maybe? I mean, that was like the one time he drove really well, and everyone was so surprised because he'd been so terrible the rest of the time. Which just goes to show that...
Hang on, what year did I say?
I think you said 2005, and then you said 2008.
It's 2010.
Oh, okay.
Which you said was 10 years ago, but it was like 15.
No,
Sorry,
15. 14. Truly maybe? I'm just trying to think about how I feel about Jarno Trulli. He was always thereabouts. He had a very long career, didn't he? But he was never one of those drivers you thought about as being brilliant. It'd be like if Hulkenberg won a race now. He'd be like, okay, fine.
Truly scrumptious.
What are you talking about?
That's how I always remembered his name.
I was thinking it was truly madly deeply.
I remember Olivier Panis. I remember remembering his name because. Do you remember? Well, no, it wasn't that actually. It's even sadder than that. It was the old racing F1 like the racing times and stuff was done by Olivetti. The PC, the computers. Yeah. And I just remember because it was Olivier and Olivetti. That is literally the only reason I remember his name. Is it my brain? I don't know why that did that.
I remembered Stefano Modena because it sounded like Mondeo.
Stefano Modena.
What did I say?
Stefano Mondena.
So you didn't remember his name? His name was Mondeo, I think.
Which actually might be more accurate. Because if there's one thing I found out in recent years, is that a lot of the way that racing drivers were pronounced in the 1980s was completely wrong because British people didn't know how foreign names were pronounced.
Just Murray Walker going, I'm giving you this name.
You said Panis. Is it? I would say Panis.
It should be Pani. Well, shouldn't it be Pani because he's French?
Pani? But it was always Olivier Panis.
Olivier Pani.
Oliver Panis. Calling for duty.
Was
I sell cockles.
Was Panis racing at the same time as Max Papis? I seem to remember because that got confusing.
Panis and Papis. So there was
Blundell
and Martin.
Blundell
and Martin Brundle, and there was also Mika Salo and
Salo and Sato.
Salo and Sato. Felipe Massa and Felipe Nasser.
Yeah. Oh. There's not enough of that now, is there? There should be more drivers brought in that are only one letter different from another driver.
Oh, who do we have?
Lewis Hamilton.
Nigel Dansell. Dan. Anyway.
George Bussell.
That's good.
I think that. Oh, we haven't talked about Heikki Kovalainen. No.
Oh, fucking hell! This is a long answer.
He had a really good car because he was with Hamilton, wasn't he? And he only won one race. He probably should have won more races. Sorry,
but he was with Hamilton.
He was with Hamilton, wasn't he? So and Hamilton won loads, if I remember. I'd have to go and check the details. But Kovalainen only won one in that McLaren. So I feel like he probably should have. He should have won more.
Who's on first?
Not because he was good, but because he had a car that was good enough to do it.
Yes.
And now all I remember about him is him backflipping with Mark Webber.
Oh.
Not a euphemism.
Terry.
Psaya03 says, is Formula One listening to Terry? Is Magnussen the new danger car? Well, we've had another TikTok clip that's gone bloody viral.
Bloody viral?
Oh, yeah, more viral than the last one.
The last one went viral at like 30,000 views. This one's on like 80. And I looked up stats. I went to Google, what does going viral mean on TikTok? Yeah. And it said, if you get over 100, you can be considered mildly viral.
Over 100?
Right. I mean, so we're low viral then.
You mean 100,000 or 100?
100,000, sorry.
Yeah, everything's okay.
100K.
That's much less impressive then.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're
100. So we're not quite mildly viral.
We're not the big dogs on Twitter not Twitter. I can't even remember the name of the platform on TikTok that we thought.
Cannonball.
Yes.
Anyway, Formula One. I'd forgotten I said this, to be honest. Until it was another question.
Well, that was about danger carring, wasn't it?
Yeah. I have a lot of fucking great ideas, And Formula One, if you want to pay me a high consultancy fee, I can't remember any of them. So you just have to listen to the podcast. You
Yeah.
know, for nothing.
Yeah, we should.
Hope that answers
license
your
them.
question, Paseo03, that we haven't addressed at all.
Last question then. Kishan Patel. Would Oscar have won if Carlos hadn't been a total twat? The McLarens clearly had great pace.
He would have
Serious
done
question.
better, but he'd have had to get the great safety car luck that Lando had, because that was the big thing. Like the McLaren did have good pace, and I thought Piastri was driving better, but not getting that safety car luck and being twatted by Sainz finished for him.
Sainz blotted his coffee book, didn't he? And he's looking
He
for a
did. He'd
job.
been really. We said it in the last episode, didn't we? Like he'd been really good for the first few races, and then this one it all went completely out the window. So hopefully he's back on form this coming weekend.
But it's just what if? If my
Isn't that
mum
just
had
life?
balls,
Yes,
she'd
yeah,
be
okay.
my dad.
That's what everyone in that room should have done when Verstappen said that, instead of just going, "Oh, I got some funny backs."
Did they laugh? I don't
Probably.
remember anyone laughing.
Oh, they're all like 20-year-old gamers, aren't they? They're probably like put their
He
finger
said
in their
balls.
armpit and do that.
That was a sick burn. He pooned you noobs.
To be fair, if someone did do that, Terry, I would laugh. If they did a little fart with their arm, I would laugh.
There's a new
That's what you should have. He's just gone.
There's a new Senna drama coming out on Netflix, isn't there?
Oh,
And I
yes.
think in the scene where he wins the Brazilian Grand Prix finally, and he can't move his arms to lift the trophy because he's cramped up so badly. I've seen a trailer for the film, and there's a moment where he says to his dad, "You know, I've won the Brazilian Grand Prix. I can't move my hands." And his dad says, "Son, what can I do for you?" And he goes, "Put your hand in my armpit." And then he just drops his arms and big farting noise. The whole Brazil goes, "Way!" and everyone starts farting in their armpits.
Yeah.
And that's how we get
Then
that noise. That's where
Then
we
the
name that.
Benny Hill theme tune starts up and on the podium.
Oh,
That's how it started.
and that's how he died.
Well, thanks for all your questions. I hope we answered them to the best of our abilities, and you got something from it. Coming up after the ad break, it's Phill Troman's Grand Prix preview. Remember, you can listen ad-free at the Whinging Moustache, our new subscription. Just sign up through Apple Podcasts, head to our page, and you'll see a link to join. Or you can just say thanks for all the content by donating a one-off pint or 3 to us at ff1s.com/pint. And now from one... all right, yeah, just cough all over it, you fucking... Yeah.
I didn't know you were fucking starting, did I? You didn't do the clapperboard.
And now, from one elephant in the room to another, it's time for the FF1S Grand Prix preview with Phill Tromans.
Ciao a tutti e benvenuti al Formula 1 MSC Cruises Gran Premio del Made in Italy e dell'Emilia-Romagna, held at the Autodromo Enzo e Dino Ferrari in Imola. The circuit is named after the Ferrari founder, Enzo Ferrari, and his son Dino, who died tragically before his time. So it's kind of ironic that the circuit is best known these days for the tragic death before his time of somebody entirely different. The Imola track is a cracker, but it's destined to forever be linked with the deaths of Ayrton Senna and Roland Ratzenberger at the 1994 San Marino Grand Prix, especially as this year's race marks 30 years since that pretty horrible weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Imola was first introduced to the F1 World Championship for the Italian Grand Prix in 1980, replacing Monza because organisers wanted somewhere a little less tainted by death after Ronnie Peterson's fatal crash there the year before. It's going well then. Last year's Imola race had to be cancelled after local flooding killed at least 17 people.
Jesus.
Phil fact, there were 2 Formula 1 races at Imola before 1980, back when non-championship races were a thing. The first was won by Jim Clark, who would later die in a horrible racing crash, and the second was won by Niki Lauda not long after he was horrifically injured in a racing crash. So it's smiles and great expectations all round then, as we welcome Imola back to the calendar for 2024, and we're sure everything's going to be fine this year. The track will welcome 19 of the world's top drivers and Logan Sargent for 63 laps of the 4.909km circuit. The race lap record is currently held by Lewis Hamilton, who managed a time of 1 minute 15.484 seconds way back in 2020. The last race held at Imola in 2022 was won by Max Verstappen, and normally we'd expect him to win again, but after the last race at Miami, we're not so sure. Will the collapse of the Red Bull empire continue, and can Lando Norris make it 2 wins from just 111 races? Or can Ferrari get their shit together at their home race? Bonus Phill fact. The president of the Imola circuit is none other than Giancarlo Minardi, founder of the Minardi F1 team, which is now the RB team. So if Daniel Ricciardo scores an unexpected win here, start asking difficult questions. But don't worry, he won't. Alla prossima, ciao!
Very good.
Minardi, I like that. That's good. Good fact.
I like the little sergeant.
No Phill facts this time. Yeah.
Take that, sergeant.
Come for the deaths, stay for the Minardis.
Oh, there's a lot of death there. There's
a lot of death at Imola.
Horrible anniversary. That I didn't realise that. 30 years.
It is, but it's not. There's a lot of death around Imola. I'm just saying. I hope nothing goes wrong this year.
I remember on the 1st of May 1994 was watching the Formula 1 at my nan and granddad's house, and being a Nigel Mansell fan of years before, even though Nigel Mansell wasn't there that year, I kind of hated Senna because he was Nigel Mansell's foe. And because he was doing not very well in that season, he kept crashing out the first race, all the races. When Senna crashed, I vividly remember cheering in my nan and granddad's little house in Gloucester, and I didn't realise I was cheering the death of a great. And I look back 30 years from now with some reflection and try to work out to myself, of those 4 people, me, my nan and granddad, and Ayrton Senna, only I'm still alive. So, I won, really.
Who's laughing now? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Really. Okay. Of the 4 of them, I was the best.
Well, I'm glad you've learned your lesson.
Or just
Pretty
younger.
Sure.
You were just younger as well.
I think at that age, any of the 4 of us in that car would have died. I think my nan and granddad or a 14-year-old boy would have died.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't think you can say it's age, Ollie, can you?
No, you're right. You're right, actually. You've won again.
It would have been a little difficulty.
I bet you feel so big
to qualify on pole as a 14-year-old, but that wasn't the question you asked.
I mean, Max Verstappen nearly managed it. He was only 16. Yeah.
Give me Antonelli, Morbidelli, Minardi, Giancarlo. He'd do it.
He would. And if he had balls, he'd have been his mum.
I could be him.
I don't know.
If Kevin Magnussen had balls, he might have a career next year, but he fucking won't, will he?
Well, he'd have them sucked by Nico Hülkenberg.
Nicole Kidman. Who?
I reckon Kevin Magnussen's balls smell of cigars.
What?
I bet he doesn't smoke cigars.
And fine mahogany.
I think they just probably smell musty.
I think they clack together like an executive toy.
No, I bet he's got that kind of... do you ever get that thing, especially with other men, let's say, that if someone has... I don't really wear aftershave, right?
No, I don't.
And I don't really like the smell of aftershave much. And then every now and again, a guy will walk by with like some kind of aftershave that makes me wilt like I'm working for Don Draper, and I'm just like, hi, hi.
I just splash it on for nights out. Splash it on all over. That's the big question about the Imola Grand Prix answered then.
I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be very exciting. I like Italy. It's a lovely country. They have nice food. You didn't mention any of the food in that, actually.
What the fuck do I know about food?
You mention food from time to time in your previews.
You like Italy? They have steak.
Yeah, but it's not. Italy's not famous for its steak, isn't it? In fact, actually,
Buffalo,
I have been.
Mozzarella.
I'll tell you what. I'll give you a Formula One related food story. I went to the. It's not really a very good story, but just because you asked, I went to the Ferrari restaurant near Ferrari, where all the drivers go in Maranello, and I've now forgotten what it's called. Google it, will be on there.
Mamma mia.
It was really nice. It's the best ampasto I've ever had.
Oh, thank God! I thought you were going to say you went in there and said, "I'll have what Michael Schumacher has."
Can I have a plain burger?
Can I have no tomato sauce?
I had it as it came out from the old lady who used to cook for Michael Schumacher, and they're just pictures.
Came out of an old lady.
Not out of an old lady. She cooked it.
Squeeze, mamma mia! Dol mio.
That was her name, Mamma Dol Mio. It was really nice.
Massive jugs. Oh, amazing. I'm so tired.
Good.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm calling it. That's it from us. We'll be back next week when we'll be looking back at the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. And yes, probably mentioning Senna again. In the meantime, check out our Facebook page, facebook.com/for F1's sake, and follow us on Twitter @for F1's sake, and TikTok at the same handle. And if you want to put faces to our voices, then you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. You watching already? Hello. Oh, yeah. You can only see this if you're watching on YouTube.
Am I going to move my head the same time as the phone? So now it's not moving. Sorry, everyone. Carry on.
It's okay. Yeah, subscribe to that because it'd be brilliant. Thank you. Terry, where can people buy merch?
We got new merch. We did a new T-shirt. I did a T-shirt about bollards. I forgot already.
About them now.
Feels like a long time ago. But go to ff1s.com/shop.
Great. Thanks for listening. I've been Ollie Peer. Goodbye.
Goodbye.